Hello, my name is Ellie Barnes. I'm a writer and a librarian. And today I am going to recap Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 1, Laws of Nature. I am planning on doing recaps for basically every episode, at least this half of the season. I've already posted my recap to my website and on Facebook. The full recap is actually somewhere around 3,000 words, which is really long. I don't have the time to do the whole thing here, so let's just discuss a few of my thoughts and reactions to this episode. I will link my full recap below, and I also want to say, if you haven't seen this episode yet, do not watch this video. It will be full of spoilers, and it will also make absolutely no sense. Put it in your watch later list, and come back to it when you've had a chance to see Laws of Nature. Okay, let's discuss the thing everyone was waiting for, myself especially, which is what happened to Simmons, where is Simmons, what's going on with Simmons. We get a glimpse of her in this episode, which is nice, but obviously I want more. We were just teased. They showed us, what, a dozen frames? And we have some sense of where she is, kind of. But I say if we don't get more Simmons in the next episode, we riot. Now, the next thing I want to discuss is something that, quite frankly, I've been thinking for a while, but it became more obvious in this episode. I really like Mac. I really loved his scenes with Fitz last season. I think those two actors worked really well together. And I think Mac can do a lot more than he's been given on the show. Now, that's kind of a weird statement to make, because Mac is in so many scenes in this episode. And he does well in them. I'm not arguing that he doesn't. But he's just offering exposition. His only storyline at the moment is that he's intolerant of Inhumans, which someone in the story is going to be. But it isn't coming from anywhere, it isn't linked to anything, and it isn't even worked into his relationship with Daisy at all. We don't know how he justifies working with her, if he considers her an exception, or if he's totally okay with her because she's under S.H.I.E.L.D's guidance. Like, if that's where he draws the line, there's just nothing to it right now. And I hate to see a good actor wasted because they don't write him any story. I don't know what to say about the Hunter-Bobby thing in this episode. Actually, I do know what to say. I don't care. I really like them both. I like them both separately, though. When she was kidnapped by Ward, I felt like the actress did fantastic performances, and it was really engaging. And Hunter's whole storyline in the beginning with Lucy Lawless's character was also very interesting. But when we get down to this thing where they're together or they're not together, I'm just not invested in it. I really don't care whether or not they're a couple. So this whole episode and the plot of they're talking to each other or they're not talking to each other, I kind of didn't care. And now, of course, we should return to the total MVPs of every episode, Fitz and Simmons. I am a huge Fitzsimmons fan. I really am at my most engaged with S.H.I.E.L.D. when we're dealing with these characters. And I love Coulson and Daisy, too. I mean, there's other characters worth watching, absolutely. But I love Fitz and Simmons. I feel like the writers shoehorned them into a lot of scenes, which we're really worried about Simmons and we're wondering what happened to her, so it makes sense that they're mentioning her. And she's someone that they lost, so them thinking about her makes total sense. But I mean, it's in scenes it doesn't need to be in. I feel like the writers are putting it in there to keep us engaged. It's not a bad thing, it's just, to me it's a little funny. Now, the whole thing where this dude in Morocco convinces Fitz to admit that he loves Simmons, it's a sweet moment. It's a little weird, because why does that guy care? But still, I liked hearing it. The downside of him admitting that he loves her is that if they both love each other, and they want to be together, then they won't be, because story is conflict. So unless someone doesn't want them to be together, there is no conflict. Them falling in love and being happy and going skipping through tulips is not a story. Fitz admitting that he loves her, and us knowing that she cares about him. I can't remember if she's ever admitted that she loves him or not. But it means we're not going to see them together anytime soon. So that was my recap of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 1, Laws of Nature. For the full recap, click on the link below. I will be back next week with Episode 2.